Good afternoon on this Saturday, July the 10th at the Shuswap Community Teaching Garden. We've just completed our Saturday work bee. Thank you so much to the volunteers who were able to make it out, including Rick from Rick's Rubbish Removal, who took away an entire truckload of things that we just don't need here anymore. Some scrap wood, old tools, and he really cleared up this area for here by the shed, which is going to be really great for Harvest Tuesdays because that's all shaded in the morning so that the produce can sit there in the shade instead of wilting in the sun. And just getting rid of a lot of things. We've got some more room, and so thank you so much to Rick for doing that. And to Nan and Rita and Mary for coming, and Darlene and Barry. It's friends like you that makes this garden grow. So we've got, everything is pretty incredible. Cabbage is growing, beets are becoming abundant, the kale is becoming abundant, chard, dill, carrots. More seeds were planted today, more of the root crops, so those are sort of our last plantings of those. And now as we make room, we will start to think about planting spinach and turnips later in August. The peppers are slow, but we'll let them go. We'll see what happens with those. Zucchinis are starting to come. And then all of the tomatoes are looking really nice. Basil is growing in between. Onions are growing in between. Not seeing a lot of blossoms and tomatoes yet. So we'll see. I mean, it's still early. It feels like we've had so much summer so far, but really it's still early summer. We have all the beans really took off. So we've got some that are blossoming. So we really tried to stagger our growth. I'm not sure if these were broad beans or lima beans, so we'll find out. They're more or less the same anyways. And these are going to need to be, bound. So we'll get a couple of stakes in on either side, and we'll take some of the twine that we have inside the shed and do a loop around those because they get quite tall and then quite floppy. So in order to keep them up, we're going to get those contained. The peas have almost had it, so there's not much left there. We probably will keep the trellis there because we'll do another planting of peas towards August so that we can get a nice fall crop of snap peas. Just weeded this. We had some germination of parsnips. They're a tricky one. They take around 3 weeks, and it was sort of a little spotty, so we ended up putting in some more seeds, but hopefully those parsnips will take off there, and then they should be able to withstand the vines. So as you can see too, with the squash plants, it's incredible, the growth, and there are squash forming too, so that's always exciting. Potatoes are managing to hold their own in and amongst the potato beetle, so we will see how that goes. It's been really hard to keep on top of them. It really does need daily attention and many hands, and it's summer, and we do get a good core group of volunteers up here, but we can always use more. So seeds went in today, so we'll wait for germination. There's no orange flag tape right now to indicate where we need things planted. So that's good. So almost every row at least has some plants or seeds in it. We're trying to really make sure we are going to have enough food from this garden. Sort of emergency food aid. The food from this garden is really meant to be going up to the second harvest or our food bank. Also, some of the food is going to the Family Resource Center. We do absolutely, we want to share with our volunteers as well. But one key thing is that we really do need to try and tally how much food we grow here. That weight and the pictures that goes a long way for us to be able to say, look at this project, look how much food it produces. And we tally our hours, like we have sign-in sheets so that we can know how many people come up here, you know, how much work does this take, how much food does it produce, so that we have a better way to apply for funding in the future. So it's not that we don't want to share with the community, we absolutely do. This food is meant to go into the community. But if you are going to come up here and do any harvesting, we would really appreciate doing it on the Tuesday with us. And by all means, you can take some home. But we really do try and actually, you know, put down poundage of how much we grow. So it is really important so that this project can continue to be a success. And this Tuesday, there will be Harvest Tuesday. So tomorrow, Sunday, Garden Yoga. Tuesday, there will be Harvest Tuesday from 8:30 till 10:30. And through the week, any time that you might be able to come up here and do some weeding, just to help those crops to really flourish. And if you see some areas that are a bit sort of bare, not much for wood chips or anything around some of the crops that are really growing, like the tomatoes even, taking a bucket full of wood chips and mulching around the crops that are growing is going to go a long way to supporting the moisture to stay in the soil instead of evaporating. So, you know, mulching around, flourishing crops, weeding would be really helpful. If you know how to sort of prune and upkeep tomatoes, there are some tomato plants towards the potato patch over here that could use some attention. And I've already kind of directed a lot of the squash growth, but we can always kind of just go through and make sure that the vines are sort of pointing towards the back of the garden. And there are still some raspberries, there's herbs, the perimeters still could use, especially the, southwest side. Really could use some attention. The perennials and the perimeter could use weeding too. But otherwise, it looks really amazing. And if you haven't been up here before, just come on up and have a look and check it out and get to know us. And if you'd like to become a volunteer, we can certainly sign you up. We have a waiver to sign and can let you know how things work. And we would love to have more friends for the garden. Have a great weekend and a great week next week. We'll talk to you soon.